The Benefactor Terrorbyte. This is one of the new vehicles that was released today, and in this video I want to show you guys why I think this thing is one of the best vehicles in the game, if not the best, for just all around use. This thing is an absolute beast, and I want to show you guys why. Now, starting off with the price obviously is going to deter some people because it does cost quite a bit, and I'm not entirely sure. You guys in the comment section can let me know, but I have heard reports that you need to purchase all of the levels in the nightclub, which is going to add another pretty big cost too. I actually purchased all of them before this vehicle came out, so I never got to test that. But if anyone maybe only had one level, let me know in the comments if you could purchase the Terrorbyte. But the actual cost of the vehicle, if you don't buy the upgrades, like I just bought pretty much everything that was available, including the two cosmetic things, the interior and the paint job, I believe. Those things cost like, I don't know, 200,000 total, so it's not too bad for that. The other things though obviously are going to cost you more. The specialized vehicle workshop for the Oppressor Mark II, if you want to upgrade that. You have the drone station, the turret station, even the weapon workshop. Those are going to cost you a lot of money. And total, mine was like 3.3 million. So actually not too bad. I mean, compared to some of the other vehicles that Rockstar have released, at least for that 3.3 million, you're getting something that is really, really, really useful. But if you do want to add on the other additional upgrades once it's in your nightclub, like armor and engine upgrades to make it faster, that's going to push it to, I don't know, maybe like 4.2, something like that, $1 million. So, you know, it is a pretty big chunk of change. But what actually makes this thing great is just everything it can do. The first thing I want to show you guys, because this is just absurd. Like, in GTA Online, I think the most armored vehicle that we have is the Insurgent. And that thing, I think it can tank, like, I want to say 10-ish RPGs before blowing up. And that's a lot, right? I mean, not too often are you going to have to get hit by 10 RPGs. Or actually, maybe the MOC is the toughest in the game if we're taking a look at all the vehicles. That one can withstand, I don't know, maybe like 17 RPGs. But this Terrorbyte, as you're seeing in the gameplay, it doesn't even care that it's being hit by RPGs. If you wanted to blow this thing up from scratch, and I have full armor, it is going to take 34 RPGs. That is insane. And considering the RPGs are the most damage, they have the most damage out of all the explosions, then that means it's going to take even more homing missiles. And I believe that also applies to the vehicles. So basically what I'm saying is this thing is not going to die. I mean, it's going to require like the entire lobby coming after you to blow it up. Also, I did just want to test the armor against the Hydra's cannons, because obviously the Hydra's cannons are probably the most deadly weapon in the game. And even that, it took like 10 seconds, which is a lifetime in that sort of situation, because a Hydra pilot's not going to have that long. They're only going to have like one little swipe. And you can see it takes a while for the Hydra cannons to blow this thing up. So if you're looking for a vehicle with armor, this is by far the best option. There's no other option comes close to what the Terrorbyte has in terms of armor. So armor-wise, this thing can't be beat. Some of the other features though, let's talk about the inside of the cab. First off, little things, you can access the cab, the back, from the inside of the truck, like from the driver's seat. That made no sense, but if you're driving, you don't have to get out, walk around back to get in like the MOC. You can just straight from the driver's seat walk right in. You just hold right on the D-pad when you're stationary and it puts you in. Very, very convenient. Also, passengers can do this as well if you've invited them to the inside, or if they're in your club or your CEO. Once inside, you'll notice three things. I mean, I obviously have everything. So in the back, you'll notice the specialized workshop with the Oppressor, which I'll talk about. We also have the drone station and the turret station. And then you have I guess the nerve center, the giant screen in the middle. And that's actually where you launch jobs. The jobs, I didn't really test too much, but From what I heard, they're, fairly easy. They're basically missions in free roam, which I guess is good. They don't really pay out the greatest, but if you are doing contact missions to make money, then you might as well just do this if you have the Terrorbyte, because they pay basically the same. I want to say 4 of the missions pay 30,000, where 2 of them pay 20,000. And I mean, because you have this beast of a vehicle, you can do these missions very easily. You can also resupply stuff. So what I'm going to show you guys is me actually calling or sourcing a vehicle. And that's great because you don't need to go back to your office. So let's say you're up in Sandy Shores, right? And you want to source a vehicle. Well, just call your Terrorbyte, go inside, source it from there, instead of going all the way back to your office to go maybe all the way back to Sandy Shores if that's where the vehicle spawned. So that's pretty convenient. I didn't test any of the other supply missions, but from what I gather, they're basically the same old supply missions. You can just do them from your Terrorbyte. The only unfortunate part is that you can't actually see how many supplies or how much supplies you have. You actually have to go to the business for that. That's one of the unfortunate parts about this. Let's talk about the 2 stations. We'll start with the drone station, because this is kind of fun. The drone actually has a cooldown time of a minute once it gets destroyed, so you are going to have to wait. You can't just constantly bring them out. Also, it has a limit, a distance limit. You can see at a certain point, I tested that limit, and I mean, it's fairly far. Obviously, you can't go across the entire map, but if you're just in the general vicinity of your Terrorbyte, you'll be fine. You can see it's a circle from the Terrorbyte, so you can see where I'm at. Just if you want, you can draw a circle around everything and get an idea. The drone has 3 features. It's got the super speed, it's got the shock, and then it's got the detonate. The drone, the super speed, it's like a burst sort of thing, and all of these things sort of, I guess, well, apart from the detonation, but you can do the super speed, you can do the shocking thing, but it takes, I don't know, like 10 seconds to refill. And speaking of the shocking, it's not something really that you can grief with, because when you shock someone, they'll be down on the ground for like 5 seconds, but since you have to wait, let's say 10 seconds for it to replenish, they can easily just take out their gun and shoot you. So it's not like you can just constantly shock them over and over again. So that is, I guess, good news, so griefers can't abuse that. The drone is very small. I'll show you guys what it looks like in a second. But the other thing, the detonation, I believe it takes 7 seconds for the drone to detonate, and you can hear the clicks when you do it, but just know that when you're gonna detonate it, it's not instant. You have to like follow them, and if they hit you, like if you're going after someone in a car and they hit you, it'll destroy the drone before it detonates. So you do have to be careful. It is going to take, I guess, a little skill to kill someone with the detonation, but the detonation is fairly big. It does blow up vehicles. I tested it here. You can see, I don't think I actually killed someone because the guy ran away, but we did blow up the T-20, and I think that's still pretty impressive. As for the size, though, look at this thing. I mean, it is very hard to see. At nighttime, it's almost impossible to see because the damn thing's so small, and it is a little dark, so if it's up in the sky, you're going to have a very hard time seeing it. So I guess that is, or you can use that to your advantage if you're using this to like shock people or something. You know, you shock them, then you do some like 360s, make sure they don't know where you're at, and then you shock them again. But I think this is a pretty cool little thing. It is very helpful in missions too, because if you, like in Headhunter, for instance, if you don't want to go into a place, then you can just bring your drone and go detonate it and kill someone. Also, cops will come after you, and NPCs, cops especially, seem to have no problem killing this thing. So just know that NPCs can take this thing out pretty quickly. As far as people, though, I mean, like one little shot basically will take it out. So it's very easy to kill. Next up, the turret station. The turret station is actually really cool. Unfortunately, though, they put the wrong missiles in, and the missiles freaking suck. So the turret station, one, you can use it while driving. So you can have a driver, and you can be on the turret station, which is great. Unlike the Chernobog, where you have to be stationary. But this is a multi-lock-on system. So it will automatically lock onto any sort of threat in the sky or on the ground. It even locks onto vehicles. But the unfortunate part is you'll see when I shoot the missiles, more than half of them miss. So I think these are normal homing missiles where they're just not that good. These aren't the good Oppressor or Deluxo or Vigilante missiles, which I guess would be a little overpowered considering everything this thing does. But that may be something, the turret station, it may be something that you don't get, because I feel like I'm never going to use this because it's not very good. Like, someone can easily dodge these missiles, and the thing takes some time to replenish the missiles, so you can't even spam to get someone. Like, if they have flares, one of the guys I was shooting at, his flares replenished quicker than my missiles, so he could just flare and be done. Although I will say one cool thing, and unfortunately someone shot my friend down before we could really test the distance, but once you lock onto something, the thing isn't getting unlocked. You could lock onto someone at the airport, have him fly all the way to Mount Chiliad, and it'll stay locked. And if you shoot the missile, and assuming it actually hits, it'll kill the guy. So it does have super, super, super long range, but again, the missiles just aren't that good. And then to wrap this up, some little things. You can't stand on the top while driving. That's kind of unfortunate. I was really hoping it'd be like the ambulance where you could. Also, both driver and passenger have access to every single weapon and explosive when they're driving, so that's another thing that's pretty good. There is a cooldown of like a minute, or of I think 2 or 3 minutes when you call it. You can't recall it for another couple minutes. One very odd thing, you can't call Lester when you're in the back. So you actually have to go to the cab, like to the driver's seat, to call Lester to remove stars. So that's very, very unfortunate. But one of the really cool features, like the MOC and Avenger, it's not your personal vehicle. So you can call this with a personal vehicle already out. But that is why I think the Benefactor Terrorbyte is one of the best vehicles in the game. This thing, you could drive it around, it's not going to blow up. One thing I did forget to mention, it's not the fastest thing, obviously, because of the type of vehicle it is, but it's not bad. Like, it handles fairly easily. It drives, you know, a decent speed. It's not super, super slow or super annoying, I didn't find. And obviously, that's as much as you can hope for with a vehicle like that. But this thing is going to be the king for just doing whatever, because especially if you combine it with the Oppressor Mark II, you could have a really, really deadly or just useful combo. You could use the Oppressor Mark II to get around quickly, and you can use this Terrorbyte to do some missions, to not die, to mess with some people with the drone, or even the player scanner. I forgot to mention that, but the player scanner, the way it works, while you're driving, you can hold or hit right on the D-pad, and you go into this camera. You can still drive while you're in this camera. There's also one in the back. But you just aim it at someone and you'll see all the info on the right. So there's all these really cool little features that you get with this vehicle, and I just think it makes for a really awesome time in free roam. But anyway, let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think about this vehicle? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Hopefully I answered some questions that you may have had about this vehicle in this video. If you did enjoy it though, I'd appreciate if you drop a like, subscribe for more awesome GTA content, and hit that bell so you don't miss out on when I upload. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one.